Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gooners podcast. It is a very good day. Actually, it's a good weekend. Whenever Arsenal wins, that's a good weekend, and whenever we win against that lot over that side, I mean, not meaning Tottenham, but of course the United side, um, it's a happy weekend. I have got today with me Arun. Hi, Arun.
Hello.
Eben. Hi,
Hey, Picasso.
and Deepak. So
Hello.
So today we are at a no holds barred day where we are gonna go all out on like United bashing and everything because this is one time of the year where we get to do that. So before that, as usual, like we have been asking for your help, like do subscribe, like, share, and comment. We are trying to provide more content. So if you want to be part of it, especially about the transfer episode that we have been bandying about, reach out to us. And I think Aben will be running it if he has time. Else, Ellen might run it. So, I mean, you know that I have no knowledge of the footballing world, so it will be either the good, knowledgeable people who will be running those shows. So you can be happy that you could join that discussion. But I'll start with Arun. Arun, you were watching the game with United fans, so that's why I'm starting with you. What is your reaction? What was your reaction during the game and now?
I would say I have my voice back. So that's a big win on a Monday morning, especially one good thing was today was a holiday. So I didn't have to talk to anybody and I could rest my voice and get back to doing things. But yeah, that was one big thing. Every tackle was cheered on, every duel was cheered, every time we balled the ball, it was cheered. And every time they did something stupid, it was we jeered, and every card was offensive foul was like we made it seem like we were there and we were actually the ones who were calling up the foul. So it was fun seeing them get that glimmer of hope in the 80th minute when they scored the goal, only for all of it to come crashing down. It was like a change of mood within a matter of like a few minutes that it took for the VAR to confirm that it was offside. That was amazing. It was a great win. Like you said, a great feeling. Though we were not at the best, we were not at the top of our game. We were not like doing what we normally would be doing. Given that we have had these constraints for the season, the way in which we played and won at the end, and all the drama made it like a really exciting game. So, yeah, I mean, like these are the kind of games that we live for as fans, right? So, like these are the kind of games, the results that we expect in when you're supporting the team and the team wins games like this is what like keeps you going on, look forward to the next game as a fan. And the fact that we got this win after like the first 3 weeks where we were complaining about how we're playing, of course we are going to complain again today as well, but then like going into the international break with a win like this, and we don't have to play for some time and we can like sort of bask on this and prep well for the next game after we come back, is like a really good feeling. So I would say I'm very happy with
The thing is, like we always say about, oh, this is such a Hollywood script kind of, or like masala movie script kind of a game. But usually it doesn't work for Arsenal. We always end up on the wrong side of these kind of scripts. Remember, like it's always like, United always comes with these like newbies, like Rashford when he was there, Lingard, and all these newbies
Anthony.
would come in, Anthony, all these newbies will come and score, and the script will always be flipped for the Arsenal fans. But this time the script was on our side. I mean, past couple of seasons it's been that way. So, Eben, about the win, and like to see the starting lineup, we had gotten back the starting lineup that we wanted, except obviously like Partey not being there and Havertz starting. But back four being settled, and defense being what it is. How do you feel about the starting lineup now that you're looking at the game?
No, I think I was happy with the starting lineup because I think we were crying for it. and I think it was a
I mean, I was
we were
crying for it.
I think Arteta was forced into doing it. To be frank, I think Arteta would not have switched back to this lineup if Partey was not injured, probably. But I think having Gabriel back in the team for this game was a big plus for me because I think he was strong and he's been reliable for us for quite some time. So I think having that back and having White at right back was also adding. I think we are more fluid going forward. So I think I'm not blaming Arteta for the previous formations or what we are trying because I think that also kind of worked. I think I remember Deepak mentioned in the last pod, I think our XG was always good. So we were controlling games. So I wouldn't say it didn't work or anything, but I think it was good to go back to a formula that we know works. Last season worked wonders for us last season. So I was really happy to see that, even though it was forced.
But
And
it is also like, because it is forced, it's also a little bit, worrisome because Partey is now out for quite some time and we are very thin. Like the next one, yeah, I mean, Jorginho is here. It's not a fall to El Neni if Rice is not playing, which is,
I'll look at it from a positive angle. Just imagine last season, if Partey was injured and we were playing, the level of control we had on the game up until that Rashford goal. I think we were completely dominating the game. We had the ball. They were not coming near our box. And without Partey last season, it would not have been that easy. So with Partey not being in, but Rice being there, and we still have other midfield options. So I'll take it as a positive. Partey will come back, but I think we can still survive without Partey as well.
Mhm. Deepak, Arteta's interview after the game about Harvard's not being able to play, he has compared himself to it's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing, and it's like Arteta will do it these things from time to time. But comparing like, oh, when I first approached my wife, I don't remember the exact quote, but like I approached my wife and it was like I had to try again and again before it worked, whatever the fuck that means. But how it's playing and missing those chances, not being at his best. I mean, that chance was it should have been converted. It shows how much the player has lost his confidence. But it's not just us, like it's not just the Arsenal fans that is responsible for him losing his confidence. He has lost that at Chelsea, right? So
I don't know. Yeah. I think he would still start the next game as well. Looking at the interview with Arteta gave, I don't think there is one doubt in Arteta's mind that Howard is not working. For him, he is doing something. Yeah, the press conferences are getting weirder by the week. He talked about 43 formations or something and talking about his wife. I don't know what he's going, but it's fun to watch. But yeah, coming to Howard, yeah, his confidence is gone, like completely gone. I thought he would turn it around. Like, that's what Arsenal fans thought. Turn it around in like Chelsea from like Chelsea days, but looks like I want to support him, but it's becoming harder every week.
Especially about that, like first half before the Rashford goal. I'll stick with you, Deepak. Right? Like before the Rashford goal, we were in control, like complete control. So actually, I'll maybe move this question to Eben. Eben, we were in complete control before the Rashford goal, and we created so many chances, and it was like an interesting formation. Like playing Zinchenko in the inverted position is one thing, but he was not playing left center mid. He was playing right center mid. Like, what was the thought behind it? I mean, it worked, but still.
I think he was moving all around the pitch. Basically, in the middle of he was playing as a midfielder when we were attacking, and he was there throughout. And I think we had complete control of the game. And I think even the last season, if I'm not wrong, it was similar. I think we had control over the game, and suddenly out of nowhere, Rashford scores.
Yep.
I think it was very similar this time. We had control of the game, but unfortunately, I think when we lose the ball, we always there's a chance for us to concede. We've seen that of late, and that's what happened. One chance, Rashford scored. But I think I think it may be slightly worrisome that we are conceding goals like this. But then for me, I think we can take confidence from the fact that we are still controlling games. And I would say we were second half probably not that much control, but still overall I think we were the better team on the day and deserved those 3 points.
About Rashford's goal though, Arun, right? Like I felt that White and Saliba gave him a lot more respect than what they would have given to another, maybe another forward. I don't know
It's
why.
disappointing. It's
Yeah.
disappointing. We do this every time against Rashford. I don't know why. Like we make him. He's a good player. He's a good player, but we make him seem way better than what he actually is. I know he does this against other teams too, but like the defenders that we take so much pride in, and the players who are supposed to be like the best in the business in the league right now. Saliba is considered the best center back in the league, right? White is probably like one of the top five right backs, but these players sort of like lose everything. I don't know if it's a confidence factor or they see Rashford doing things that we are not able to see on TV, but all of a sudden they get like super scared and everything, like sort of collapses when Rashford, and that was the game plan too. United's game plan was like, that was something that disappointed me more than anything else in this game. The fact that it was obvious right from the beginning that their game plan was to find Rashford and get their goal through them.
I mean, it's their game plan always. I don't think United. I have not seen anything else from Ten Hag apart from, like, he says that, oh, we have to play like transition football or whatever he wants to call it. But all I see from United is like this way of looking up to Anthony or Rashford and putting in a ball that they will run onto. That seems to be their answer. It literally is the long ball United that we always talk about.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if it's the same thing that they do, and it was more obvious that they were going to be doing the same thing in this game to the best effect that they possibly could, why were we not more effective in stopping that? I don't think they attacked from any other side. I don't think they attacked from anywhere else. It was only that one outlet. Their plan was to get the ball to either Bruno or Eriksen and just pass it over to Rashford to score. And the fact that we let Rashford score a goal and let him come into the box 2 or 3 other times was like, it was not something that I really enjoyed. I was a bit pissed with that. It's one plan and we're not able to control that. We're starting from, and for that goal, starting from the moment that Havertz gave the ball to how easy it was for Eriksen to find Rashford and how easy it was for Rashford to keep driving, and seeing like both Saliba and White moving on the same side, it made absolutely no sense to me. Like at that moment, like sort of everything collapsed, White was supposed to cover the near post, which he was doing, but I don't know why Saliba was running in the same direction. We just made it way easier because that's the kind of situation that from where Rashford, he's going to score 9 out of 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of closing in the angle, we just gave him a much easier angle to like sort of see more of the goal and take a strike. And whatever Ramsdale would have done there, unless he was like maybe like a few inches, taller or had like a few inches longer arms, I don't think there would have been any possibility for him to stop that.
You remember the Boomer Man used to be
that's the thing. It should be Boomer Man or Courtois, like someone who's as tall as Courtois could have probably been able to like stop that. But apart from that, I don't know what else could have been done. So that was like pretty disappointing. I would be very honest here. It was like letting that goal go was like, why are we doing the same thing again and again and again and again? Like it's the same thing that Rashford did last time. He scored that one goal against White. White has like this problem against 2 or 3 wingers, and Rashford is one of them. It's very surprising.
Yeah, I think he was like backing off. I think even other instances in the game, he was backing off rather than closing down the space in front of him. He looked a little rattled with Rashford in front for some reason, and he has to overcome that.
I think I actually thought Tomiyasu would come in like earlier than he did, but then unfortunately, like in place of White, because like Arteta did do that last season, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought he would be coming in, but unfortunately we had to like have Zinchenko in place of Tomiyasu in place of Zinchenko because of the lack of game time. I think if Tomiyasu had gotten more time on that side, maybe things would have been different because he's more of a regular defender, right? So I don't know. It was pretty disappointing. That aspect was definitely disappointing.
But Deepak, like more than the Rashford goal and stuff, right? Like the more disappointing factor for me was that like we're not conceding a lot of chances to the opposition, but there has been a lot of higher shot conversion from our opponents. Like Fulham had like what 2 chances, 3 chances, and they scored. And then like now they had like 1 chance and they scored. We have been like shooting at them. I think we had like 12 corners or
That's
something, and we didn't convert a lot of shots and stuff. But the opponents seem to be able to convert so easily.
it's it's not like more chances, right? It's the quality of chances which we concede. During transition, like where we lose the ball and where the opponents go and score the goal, we are so bad. We haven't improved like one bit, like for the past 2 3 seasons. If you see, even like against Nottingham Forest, some they are going to score that goal. When that Awoni picked up the ball, there were like 3 or 4 defenders surrounding him, but he went and scored the goal. The same thing happened against Rashford as well. Even though that pass from Havertz was bad, that goal could have been easily prevented. We had like 5 defenders covering that player. Only like Anthony was doing that run. I don't know like what Zinchenko was doing because Gabriel was clearly covering Anthony. So we lose our complete what to say, like the structure when like the counter attack happens.
Maybe Arteta needs to have like out from the 36 formation, he needs to find another
Yeah,
37th formation.
yeah, for sure. Like what a 42nd or 48th formation where you're like strong in defense. Yeah, Saliba has improved our defense a lot, but during transition, we are still the same old Arsenal. That's what I feel. We concede stupid goals. We concede easy goals in counter attack. But yeah, in corners and stuffs and things, we have improved. So this would be like the next step, probably, which we need to take to win the title, maybe.
Mhm. Even but though like that goal went in, but our answer was so quick, right? Like that move was really, really good. And like you can see that Odegaard stepping up as a captain. I mean, I have to take a moment because I do hate Bruno Fernandes so much, and him being the United captain was like, and seeing him pointing to others when things go wrong versus when Odegaard steps up and takes this chance. It was a great goal.
Oh, amazing goal. But it was like, I'm assuming everybody would have been reacting the same way. We've been doing so well and we do this again. Why? And I think we didn't have much time to ponder over it, fortunately. And whatever, I think if you heard the post-match, this thing, I think Arteta was talking to Odegaard right after they scored, whatever he said or not. Odegaard just was amazing. I think it was very slick movement, perfect pass, and perfect finish. And Odegaard is a captain who basically he doesn't lead shouting at people. He leads by example, and that's what he did. And I think last season, that's the best thing we did. Whenever we used to go down, more often than not, we used to come back up straight away. And that's what we did here. Otherwise, the frustration would have gone in even more. But yeah, it was just amazing.
What the funniest part was, sorry to cut you off there, Abraham, like more than us, it was like one of those United fans who had the most, confidence in us coming back and scoring a goal very quickly. I don't know if you guys saw that video with United fans. I think it was Flex. He was the United fan. And they scored and all of their fans were celebrating. And in the studio, he said this. He's like, no. You know what? These guys will come back and score a goal immediately. I didn't have that confidence that he did. I'll be very honest here. And he didn't finish his sentence. He was and like that. And they scored. The timing was impeccable on that one. I have to say that.
But one player that I think we need to add to that first half where we were controlling the game was Martinelli. He was making those runs. He was playing like he was doing all the work that was missing from the rest of the team in the forward position. I know a lot of you, and I mean I will come to Deepak about it about Eddie playing the striker for that game and Saka missing those chances. But like Martinelli, even he was making those runs. He got that assist too, but I think he still like got a level to go up this season.
I think he's definitely got a level to go up. He's still young, but I think on the game he was just persistent. He was doing what probably Arteta did to win over his wife. I think he was persistent throughout the game.
Now this is going to be a meme forever and ever.
See, Wan-Bissaka was not bad.
Yeah.
That's why we got so many corners as much as we got also. But Martinelli was persistent. He was not giving up. He was going
No,
in
but that's
again
the
and
only
again.
thing. You know what, Eben, you're right. But I thought the battle would be more, like it would be more even than it was, to be honest. Like when your defender is like struggling and all that he's able to do is like give up corners to prevent that attack. You're not doing your team as many favors. You're just in fact like providing another goal scoring opportunity to the opposition at that point.
But
I thought
United,
it would be more of an even battle given like how Wan-Bissaka has been playing.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka is an excellent one-on-one defender.
That's the thing. I thought it would be more even.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It would have been more even, but I think Martinelli was very good. He was very persistent. He was going down the channels, and he was not doing the same thing again. You could see he was taking the byline and going. He was cutting back in, so he was switching between both, and he was persistent. And I think he was instrumental in creating that first goal for us and giving United a torrid time. Yes. Unfortunately for us, I'll let you take the topics on the next players. But unfortunately for us, our other attacking options were not that good on the day.
Yeah.
So it was equally more important that Martinelli did what he did on the day.
Okay, so I'm going to put something very controversial here, and I will bring Deepak and Arun into this discussion. Right, like a lot of people, including me, thought that Saka didn't have a great game, especially with that miss. I thought like Saka didn't have a great game. But I went back into the stats and looked at the stats, and by stats, Saka did have a great game. He created 5 chances. I'm just going to read this. I'm just going to read like from who scored. Saka had he was the highest chance creator for Arsenal in that game. He created 5 chances. Yeah. He created 5 chances and took 3 shots and 1 shot on target and had 1 dribble and was fouled once and was found offside once. Compare that to Martin Odegaard. He had 5 shots. Odegaard had 5 shots, 2 shots on target and 1 dribble. No key passes. Twice fouled. And compare that to Gabriel Martinelli, who we have been talking about. 3 shots, no shots on target, 1 dribble, and 5 dribble, 1 key pass. So literally, Martinelli had more dribbles and Saka had more key passes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Key passes which like led to nothing.
Exactly.
But dribbles could lead to nothing too.
The dribbles like got you the corners and stuff. Whatever like the chance which Saka missed was criminal for other things what he did, which negated completely. That was on the plate which it should have been put on. If it was Howard, you know how that would have gone.
I mean, Havertz did do the miss, so obviously.
Yeah. No one is talking about Saka's miss. Like everyone.
No, a lot of people are talking about Saka. Like a lot of people are saying he had a bad game.
Saka has been he had a bad game. He didn't have a bad game. He had an average game by his standards. So that's the standards he has set himself from like the previous season. So of course he's supposed to have a bad game. But like defending with like useless stats doesn't make sense. He did have a bad game. Key pass and stuff. What was the key pass he made? Like, tell me one key pass he made in the game.
He had an assist, right? Like at the end of the day, it's an assist.
But that was a corner.
That was
not taking back anything else, anything away from it. But I think for somebody who saw the game, I think we all saw the game. We couldn't have missed this game. For somebody who saw the game, whatever the stats say, I think Saka had an off day for me. I wouldn't say he was even average.
Yeah, it was like one of those situations where, like, I wouldn't call it stat padding, but like eye test like sort of proves it. But in terms of the overall impact, like Deepak said, what did that key pass lead to? In terms of the overall impact of Saka on the game, it could be that maybe like we are more used to what he has offered us so far, and that was not up to mark, or it could be the fact that it was like a lot of numbers that at the end of the day do not mean anything because they didn't lead to anything. It's like that one thing called pre-assist that we Arsenal fans invented for Ozil.
Yeah.
It's like it's a thing in hockey. Like when you play ice hockey, it makes more sense. But like the pre-assist term was invented by us to make Ozil's stats seem look much nicer than what they were originally. So it seems like the one of those things, because it was like Evan said, all of us saw the game. He wasn't good. He was not
If
like
you
doing
like,
things that he normally does.
if you take like United and check Bruno's stats, you would see that he had a great game. But Bruno, apart from that one pass to Martial, he had a complete stinker. But
Yeah.
the stats prove otherwise. It says like Bruno made 7 key passes. I don't even remember one except for that Martial's pass. So yeah, Saka, like I wouldn't say he had a bad game. He did have a decent game. Plus, probably like Dallo playing with his right foot, he didn't have like that many chances to cut in what he does best. And yeah, glad that corner he got an assist, but I wouldn't count that as an assist. It was like a dreadful defending from United. How would you even like leave a guy that open at like 96 minutes?
I mean, we'll talk about that later, but before that, like about the penalty shout for Havertz, was that a penalty to all of you?
No, it's not a penalty. And if you say like, oh, they gave Rashford a penalty last week, that wasn't a penalty as well. So both are not a penalty. It was the right decision.
I don't penalty. Yes, no.
I don't think so. It's one of those things that like shouldn't be given, but gets given sometimes, doesn't get given sometimes. Like
my thing is like it was given by the on-field umpire, like referee, right? I think it shouldn't have been turned on. Like it
Exactly.
shouldn't have been like thing. If it was given by ref, it should have stood. If it was the other way around, right? If it was Manchester United who was on the other end, it would have been given. It wouldn't even have gone to VAR for sure.
I mean,
No doubt, no doubt.
I mean, Ten Hag is complaining even, right? Like, did you hear about the post match from
He's
Ten Hag? He's complaining
That is
about the
because
referee.
he like the way he lost the match. He's being like delusional. The Draftsman Holland was never a penalty, and what is he
there
talking
was
about?
none of the penalty calls were convincing. I don't know. Like, I don't know why people are complaining. The Havertz one was not convincing. Like, 9 out of 10 times you're not supposed to give it. That one time it gets given. Unfortunately, it's not for us. Like Deepak said, it happened for Rashford. And the other Hoyland penalty, even they were not complaining. I don't know. I really don't understand. The players were not complaining. Gabriel stored his strength there. He wasn't doing anything like that was outside of what needs to be done. It made no sense to me.
It was just Ten Hag being delusional. I think he called out the penalty. I think the goal which we scored, the Rice goal, I think he spoke about the foul on Johnny Evans.
Yeah, that would have been a penalty for us because Johnny Evans pulled at the end of the thing, like it was Gabriel who was falling down, not Johnny Evans. If they had stopped play, it would have been a penalty for us.
And then he was questioning the line for the offside also. So he was just delusional.
I don't know like what angle he's seeing, like what line. The line is going to be straight. Like line is not going to like go like this if you change the angle.
And the worst part is like a lot of these fans are coming on Twitter and they're talking like they're mad geniuses. Like I saw a dude draw a line that you don't call that a line. A line is a straight thing. It was a patch. And they were like, this is the line that, dudes, where were you guys in school when they were teaching trigonometry and vectors and all this shit? Like, what were you guys doing, Primary education secondary education is very important. I mean, people miss it.
But Eben, continuing on the refereeing decisions, right? Like, yeah, the Havertz penalty was one and the offside was one, but we'll talk about the offside a little bit. But there was also like a couple of cards that were given, right? Like, for example, the Saka yellow, they were calling it has to be a red. But I don't see that as a red. Like he was falling, there was no control on him.
That was never an yellow in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Even that way, like I mean, we know that referees usually give cards to Arsenal players much easier than United players. I'm not calling anything. I'm not calling the referees. I'm not putting the conspiracy theory.
No
here.
Conspiracy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is, some of the calls were so arbitrary, like Bruno makes fouls and like he gets away with it. And like the calls were not like making any sense to me.
I think I stick by the fact that what I feel is we are always, the referee or the FA are biased against us. That's what I feel. Because I think, yes, when we were given a card or a foul for a similar foul by a United player, I don't think it was the same decision.
Yeah.
It was slightly different. Deepak mentioned about the penalty, the VAR case. see, since it was given on field, it should have stayed. But it was not a penalty, no doubt in that. So I still feel we were. That's the Arsenal fan in me talking. So, but I think overall, I won't complain because this was one game where the right decisions went in our favor, or the right decisions were taken, and it happened to be in our favor. So, and we got the 3 points. That's what counts. So I'm not being complaining anymore on referees.
I mean, we were talking about the offside that Ten Hag is so vehemently denying it, Arun, but it is offside, clear
Obviously.
offside. But the thing is, like for me, the best thing that we need to talk about is the Gabriel's thing. I don't know if it was, presence of mind that he decided on that spot, or he was more like, Saliba went into the tackle, so he pushed up the line because he knows his partner is going into tackle. But either way, it was great piece of defending from Gabriel.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. He's not known for these things, is he? He's always known to be the physical defender who drives forward and beats the shit out of people, like in a legal way, of course. But then like, it's not something I did not expect him to be doing what he did. And to be honest, like I was watching the match at the pub with United fans as well. And while they were celebrating, and all of us Arsenal fans were like, we had sunk into our seats, disappointed. There was one guy who somehow noticed the offside. I don't know what kind of eyes he had, but he was the only one who was telling us to calm down because it was an offside. I don't know how he saw that. He was like, yeah, that's playing.
Need to get him on a flight and send him to FA, and he has to be refereeing.
He should be a part of the PA, but then he's, I think, overqualified to be there. So I don't think they'll take it will sort of improve the quality of the footballing referees, right? So they won't take him in there. But yeah, that was the thing. It was a really good presence of mind what he did, and the way in which they drew the lines too was perfect. Like I didn't see anything wrong in the way in which they did that. And anyone complaining, like I said, probably doesn't know angles or math, or how to draw a line. That's what I would say. So it was a very good decision, very good presence of mind, the way in which he was able to stop himself. Like when you don't even have to see it in slow motion to see what he did. When you focus on like the videos which show exactly that play alone, you see how he was able to spot like what was happening, and he was able to stop himself. It wasn't fluke. It wasn't luck. It was like everything was like what he did was a very good example of presence of mind. You got to appreciate that. I was really surprised when he did that, because like I said, that the reputation that he has is of being like a team man thug, like he is not someone who is known to like do these things, or like you remember him for his long passes that he puts to Martinelli, not like things like this. So very surprised and very, very happy with that. And like, yeah, anyone complaining that it's not an offside and they're not just goals to sit, go back to school, man. I really don't know what to say. Or like there are a lot of courses on Coursera. There's a lot of Indian kids on YouTube about angles and stuff. Go see one of them.
Like, yeah, I don't understand that. There is nothing subjective about offside, right? It's either offside or not. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not like a penalty or a foul or anything. It's offside or it's not offside. That's all. So they drew the line clearly. It was red. It is offside. So that's all.
Deepak, but the thing is, like, okay, for me there was a concern about it because the substitutions were left very late, 75th minute or something. That's when our substitutions happened. I thought we should have made the substitutions early, but boy, what an impact those substitutions were. Like Fabio Vieira played really good when he came on, and like Gabriel Jesus was really good when he came on too. So although the goal
was Tomiyasu.
Although the goal didn't come from like directly from these players, it was White and Saka combining, but still, I still feel that it was these players did make a lot of change in how we played, because we were beginning to slow down in the game, so to say.
Yeah, the substitutions. Yeah, it was late. I think Havertz and Eddie had like a poor game. Should have been taken off. He had a poor game.
No, there's no way. The first goal was like Eddie had a big part to play.
That's just one thing. After that, he wasn't like bad. He was like average. he had like probably a 6 or 7 game, which was expected out of him. He did perform really well after like like the first 3 games he did well. He was expected to have like a lower game, which was but the substitution could have been made at like 60th or 65th minute, like little earlier. But it turned out good. We have moved on, like 2 3 seasons back we would have had no one to bring on.
Even last season, we didn't have a lot of people to bring on.
Yeah, which is
And
which is very glad and surprising to like see. So
But the thing is, we did not bring on Trossard at all in this game. We did not bring on Trossard. And
last 2 games.
yeah.
last 2 games, which is like a very good thing, right?
I'm waiting for like, putting on my conspiracy cap and claiming that
They have a
Trossard is
fight.
going in.
The Arteta and Trossard are fighting.
Yeah, exactly. I will bring that up if it doesn't happen in the next 2 games. But that's for the views. But the second goal, Eben, White finish was brilliant finish. He deserved that goal. I mean, he was the man of the match at the end of the day. But that goal, I mean, it is funny that we always complain about Fergie time, and it was literally a Fergie time. 8 minutes added, and we scored instead of that time for City United to score. So the second goal, talk me a little bit about it.
So I think the second goal, like I said, it was not a moment of great play, passing, etc. I think we wanted to win. There was a corner, Rice was there, and what mattered most was taking that chance. He could have easily tried to put it back into the mix, do something, but then he's got that character, that personality. He wanted to get it done, and I think that was more important.
What a way to get your first goal.
Exactly.
Biggest game
First
till
goal.
now. First goal, biggest game, Emirates Stadium. Wow.
And the timing of the goal. Most importantly, the timing of the goal. He just took the shot. The ball came in. Fortunately for us, United's marking was poor. He was free. He chested the ball down and he took that shot. There were a couple of deflections. It went in. We don't care. Who cares?
I mean,
it was just amazing.
I mean, United fans were complaining about, that they had back of, Evans and Maguire instead of their regular Varane and Lisandro Martinez.
Trust me, Varane wouldn't have been able to do anything.
But the thing is, like for me, today the news came out that Lisandro Martinez, was not injured. So why the fuck was he taken off? It's not our fault he was taken off. The butcher wanted to go away.
That is not our fault. They are still playing with a 38 or Evans and like the person who they really wanted to go out. It's not our fault. It's both fault.
Someone in the pub that I was watching was mentioning that that defense combined age was 80 plus or 80 years old.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like that's the thing.
You
are getting like a player like Varane or a player like Casemiro based on what they achieved in their career. That's what they did. They did not get them based on where they were at that point in their careers when they got them. It was all based on like past glory. Like there was no thought process. Like Varane had become like a walking, hospital. I like Varane, that's the thing. I like him. I like the way in which he played for Madrid, for France. He's a wonderful player, but he's not the same player anymore. And when you're bringing that sort of a player or a Casemiro on a loan at that stage of their careers, you're always taking these risks, and these cannot be blamed on the opposition. These are not like 20 to 25-year-olds or spring chicken sort of players that are getting injured. These are older players. They are bound to get injured. That's you brought them in. It's on you. Arsenal cannot do anything about it. It's not like we gave them lasagna or like we threw a pizza on their face or anything of that sort.
I mean, we did throw a pizza. So
yeah, but like not in this case. That's what I meant. Like this.
I mean, we still don't know who did it. I mean, Fabregas did it, but yeah. But okay, this is something that I actually wrote down. I was seeing an United channel obviously for shits and giggles, but Mark Goldbridge or someone, he was saying this about the third goal. And Deepak, I want you to talk about the third goal. He said like it looked like the defenders of United looks like two dogs trying to shag while wearing ice skates. That was a description. How accurate was that?
It was like, yeah, it was Johnny Evans and Dallo, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like United fans want to scapegoat Maguire again because
Yeah.
but Maguire didn't do anything. He was
Anything.
like playing center forward for the third goal, and people are still complaining about him for the third goal. You know how stupid United fans are.
The best part was the crowd started like singing his name when Maguire came in.
Yeah.
Our fans started singing.
Our fans started singing that, like, I heard from our blog that our fans started singing.
He did.
Like, if Maguire could play centre back for England, so could I. That's what they were singing. But,
Yeah, I really feel sad for that guy. He should have gotten out of that club. But yeah, that is a true description, right? Why would you even like sign a Evans who they themselves like let go like 7 years ago, saying he was not good enough,
yeah. But the third
and he
goal,
got relegated again.
yeah,
He got
with Leicester.
relegated with Leicester. I sometimes I don't understand these signings from United at all.
I never understood their signings. I seriously have never. This Hoyland is the only one who looks like he could be a good player for the future, but I don't know even then.
Too soon, Arun.
Yeah. So yeah, the third goal was like really, it was like proper counter attack, right? Like they were trying to score an equalizer. They were wide
But
open.
what a ball by Fabio Vieira. That
Yeah,
was a great
it was a great ball. Yeah, great through ball, and he put it on the perfect timing. If it was like a 1 minute or like 5 seconds late, it would have been an outside.
Yeah, he
And
didn't try anything fancy. That was the best part. He kept it simple.
yeah, just play it in the open space. And yeah, glad like Jesus finished. I didn't expect him to. Yeah, I was like, this guy is like going to do a Laka again. Yeah.
But coming back to Fabio Vieira, right? Like I was looking at, and it has been circulated among the fans, right? Like only two players have higher assists in all competition since he joined. Only like Trossard and Saka has more assists than Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira, being played less, has 7 assists from the moment he has joined.
I think he should like start like probably the next game, but he had been given chances. It's not like he wasn't given any chances. I think he did start like 2 or 3 games last season where he didn't perform really well. So that's why he got dropped. So probably he's a very good player to bring off the bench, but not like that good enough to like start again. But I think he should be given a chance given the way he has been performing.
I think he looks different this season, to be frank.
Yeah.
Because I think last season we didn't have that confidence when he came in also. But this season, at least the last 2 games, hope that continues, but at least the last 2 games, he has that confidence, and it looks like maybe it's that one season he's been here, he's acclimatized now, he knows the surroundings, maybe he's doing well now. But yeah, I think last 2 games he's good. And if he does well, give him a chance, give him a start. And I think with more competition starting soon, I think he will get his chances as well.
I think that is the end for us about discussing this game. I mean, it is the international break. It's great to go into the international break with 3 points. So I think that is good for us to talk about. We will get back to our regular stuff of touching on other games in the
slandering other teams. Yeah,
I mean we don't slander. Come on, Arun. We've been pretty decent about talking it as unbiased as possible. I mean, with me, and that in itself is a big thing. But yeah, so we'll start off with some of the games, right? Like, I mean, Eben, I'll start off with you. I mean, Luton at West Ham. West Ham seems to be unstoppable. They are winning games. I mean, it's against Luton, and they did. They did concede a goal, but still, they seem to be on a very good streak. Is it David Moyes at the end of the day? Is he showing what he's capable of?
I think more than Moyes, I think they've done they have whatever they got from the Rice money. I think they've invested it very nicely,
Mhm.
and I think they've been playing well also. I think they beat Chelsea, right? If I'm not wrong, yeah, they're the ones who beat Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
Beat Chelsea, and they've been doing well. So I think this time they will do well. I think they've got a decent enough team with the signings that have come in,
Mhm.
etc. And I think who are the scorers? I think Bowen scored one,
Yeah.
and I think Paqueta played decent. I think he created one of the goals, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
I think
Bowen and
overall,
Zuma scored one. Yeah.
yeah. I think overall they've been playing good, and I think even who was the midfielder who joined from Ajax? I forgot his name. Edson Alvarez.
It's an
I think he
Alvarez.
also. I think he had a decent game as well. So I think overall they're on the up at least,
Mhm.
and I think that's
They
good.
think they were like for sure like challenge for European spot, not like top four, maybe like Europa League. Because we forget that the last season they didn't have a great season, but the previous two seasons under Mike they finished sixth and seventh. People like forget that because of last season of like relegation struggle, but still they won the European Cup. West Ham are like a pretty good team under Mike.
Mm. So now we will move on to the big hitters of the week. I mean, there were quite a few, but the first one, Arun, is the City versus Fulham. City scored 5, which is not which is
Oh
not
my
really.
God, that was such a depressing game to watch, like for multiple reasons. Like starting with my FPL, I thought Fulham would do something and stop
Come on,
Haaland from
come on,
scoring.
come
Just
on.
no. Just based on how they performed against us, like in terms of hitting them on the counter and all that. And
No,
I stopped myself from triple captaining Haaland. I was like this close. I was like, no, I'll get another game. And this fucker scores 3 goals and gives an assist. I mean, like I really don't know what to say. I don't know. They just
yeah.
like I don't that goal that they scored was they got that goal, but then like the refereeing again in that game was hilarious. The goal that was given for City, the one that Ake scored, was unbelievable. It was like Premier League refereeing at its finest. That's how I would put it.
I mean,
So
but the thing is, we cannot complain about it. I mean, they scored 5 goals. Even if you take
yeah,
the
that's the
FK
thing. We
one out,
cannot
it's
complain
still.
about it. They
Hey,
scored. There's no talk about momentum against a game like City when you're playing at the Etihad. Like even if Fulham had been given like that goal had not stood, they would have probably scored 3 more goals.
Yeah.
That's how
And
they.
I felt they played in second gear. I don't think they went
Yeah,
above that also,
yeah,
to
that's
be
the
frank.
thing. They didn't break a sweat. That's how I was like. Everything was cool. They didn't put too much effort. They weren't like trying to push. They were getting the goals in spite of not trying to push too hard or like keep driving. It was it was like I said, depressing and disappointing at so many different levels.
Deepak, the
think
other.
like they
Yeah.
the way they are playing, they might sleepwalk to the title, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, me and my wife were
Yeah.
talking about it yesterday. What could they possibly achieve this season? They've done the treble.
Sextuple.
Is it
Sextuple.
like sextuple? Is it like doing the invincibles all over again, or like twin invincibles? Like they do the treble and the invincibles again. Like you don't want to think about these things, but then like the way in which they're playing, especially when we consider themselves to be our rivals, it's just hilarious, man. Like it's I don't know what else to say. Like they're just like walking, like Deepak said, they'll probably walk their way to the title this time.
I
But
think currently no one comes even close.
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
I
I don't
think
think there's
even
no
us.
other team in Europe that is as good as these guys right now.
Deepak, but the
And they're
other
playing
other
without KDB. That's the best
yeah.
part. They're playing without KDB right now.
I mean, after all that City praise, so you might as well think we are a City fan podcast, but no, we are still a Arsenal fan one. Deepak, Tottenham had a 5-goal game, 5-2, and
Yeah,
Solomon had like a hat trick. They look good with
no,
Madison.
they don't. Their Madison looks good, but
Yeah,
they
I
haven't
agree.
played like good teams. They played United, but United we know like they are
There was,
playing
but
well really.
that game to Deepak, if you remember, they were super
Yeah,
wasteful in the first half. They should have won the game in the first half. It shouldn't have gone
so
until
it's
the
still
second.
early days, but yeah, they had like two depressing seasons under Conte, so they can have their fair share of happiness, and they will come. It's Spurs. It will come down crashing.
Well, they crashed out of their Champions League equivalent of Carabao Cup already. So, that's one down. So,
but Deepak, are you worried that we should have gone for Madison instead of Howard?
That's there in everyone's mind, right? See, when you see Madison has
Eben says no.
Even can say no, but yeah, if you take stats as well, it proves right. Madison had he has been performing for the last 4-5 seasons really well. Consistently, he gets 15 to 20 goals and assists, which is at top level, right?
Even for that. For that.
No. So not against Madison at all. Like Deepak said, Madison has been playing consistently in Premier League for the last 2, 3, 4 seasons now. And he's been doing well. I think we were linked to Madison the most before we got Odegaard. So he is that player. He is that number 10 who can score goals, create goals. He's an amazing player. But I think I'm not thinking that we could have got Madison over Havertz because we were not looking for a profile like Madison's.
Like that.
Simple as that. No, we didn't want a profile like Madison's. Yeah.
We wanted a left-footed player to replace Saka. The one we found was Havertz. I don't know how.
I still feel there's more to Havertz. I am going to support back Arteta over here to the helm, even if it goes even another 10 games with Havertz doing the same thing.
No, then you will be alone, even if you are doing that.
I might be alone, but I've got a feeling he needed a particular profile, slightly more physical, who can get into the duels, etc. And that's what probably Havertz brings. He hasn't shown it over here yet. I hope he does that. But yeah, let's see.
But even to stick to you about the next game, which is Chelsea Nottingham Forest. I saw a meme today that said because it's Todd Bowley's team, they think that by performing so bad, they could get the first pick of drafts. That's why they are performing so bad. This is what the memes are about. I mean, they are so bad. What is Pochettino doing with this team?
No, they weren't bad. They missed so many chances.
Yeah.
That is also a part of bad.
No, so to be frank, they're much better than last season. I've seen, I think, 2 or 3 of their games. So they're attacking wise, they're doing really well. Their movement is much better. So I think they're playing well, but they don't have finishing. Simple as that. They cannot finish. Whether it's Sterling, Nicholas Jackson, whoever it is. So unfortunately, unfortunately,
Sterling will take 4 or 5 chances to finish off games, and they don't have a proper striker like Evan said. They cannot finish chances. They are creating a lot, but
they had an amazing opportunity which Nicholas Jackson screwed up. Until Havertz came and screwed up his chance, that was going to be the
miss of the week.
Miss of the week, exactly.
Okay, the next game around is the Brighton Newcastle. I mean, we were talking about Newcastle being, title contenders, whatever the shit they were talking about. But Brighton seems to be playing amazing. And that guy, Ferguson, is probably going to cost 200 million next season.
For sure. It was funny to see that because everybody thought they were going to be title contenders or top 4, which still might be true. But Howe's position right now is probably under pressure, and I don't think he has a fun set of games coming up either. I might be wrong, but the other thought was also that Brighton were they played the same way against West Ham, and they were beaten by West Ham, who just sat back and played happily. So yeah, I think the Newcastle bubble is probably bursting. I didn't understand the way in which they played. Brighton were way superior on the pitch, and then they are able to get the players to replace all these big guns that are leaving. It was funny to see Newcastle getting many people started posting 2 to 3 more losses like this. How leaves, and then Newcastle drop back to being a top 6, top 7 team that is their usual position and not be in any top 4 conversations, which could possibly become true this season. So. Yeah, it was not a great performance. It affected my FPL. Isaac got me just 2 points. And for some reason, because of what Deserby does, I tend to not take players from Brighton except for guys like Estepinen. And yeah, I should have probably gone for someone from there. I should have gone for Ferguson or someone. Yeah.
I
It
think
was, it was,
yeah.
they were cleanly outplayed. That's what I felt. Newcastle were very, very easily outplayed.
Brighton can outplay literally anyone in this
Any
league.
team in this. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Newcastle, I think they had like tough run of fixtures at the start. I think they will start picking up points.
I think
They are a good enough team.
they've lost 3 games against
Yeah, I
City,
think
Liverpool,
City,
and
Liverpool,
Brighton.
which
All are
we
tough
did
games.
as well last season.
No, but that Liverpool loss, they should have won that game. It was like
Yeah.
you don't lose games like this. It puts a big blow on the confidence that the players and the manager and everyone has. When you're like playing that well, and at the 87th minute or something, you concede 2 goals after that, especially at home against a 10-man team. It doesn't like bode well at all.
Eben, Liverpool game, Liverpool versus Aston Villa, 3 goals again. And, I mean, Emery's team, we know that they do this thing of, not playing well, or not being front-footed a lot. Is it time
against big teams?
Yeah, is it time like Emery is like, is it that time of the year where Emery is found out?
I think no. I think Emery needs to be given time, and I think Villa were not playing in Luton; they were playing in Liverpool. So I think more often than not, that was the result they would have expected.
I think they still missed 2 chances, right? Like Villa. They
Yeah.
didn't
But I think
finish
they're building
well.
a good team, which they didn't take. Yeah. They had good opportunities, which they didn't take. Plus, Liverpool had a very decent game, and they converted their chances into as simple as that. But I think Liverpool is somebody we should be wary of. They could be tricky this season if they can perform consistently at this level.
And also it showed why you shouldn't pick David Nunes for FPL. He missed a sitter again. He was back.
But okay, there are 3 more games that we need to talk about. Not the big hitters. So obviously Sheffield, Everton. Whoever wants to pick up. Is there anything to talk about in that game? I felt nothing to talk about.
Sorry, I didn't watch that game. I didn't want to waste like 90, 100 minutes of my time.
Deepak, I think Deepak watched it.
I am very much scared. Everton haven't won anything. They are playing Everton after international break.
After international break, first game Everton away. That's a perfect combination.
But I think they scored their first goal of the season in this game. I mean, they scored 2 goals, but they scored the first goal of the season in this game.
They got a point as well.
Yeah.
I think they have been playing really well, but they are missing chances. Hopefully, they suck against that Gooners, but I don't think so. Let's see.
Brentford and Bournemouth again a 2-2 game. I didn't feel anything to say about this game. Anyone has anything to talk about?
Fucked my FPL. That's all. I made Brian Mbomo captain.
There were three
did fuck all in that game.
There were 3 hat tricks this week, and he made Mbombo the captain.
The funny part is I dropped Son and Ferguson to bring it together.
Okay, I thought I had the worst week in work decision making, but yeah, you're the best, man. You're the best. You take the top spot.
Crystal Palace versus Wolves was the last game we need to talk about. I mean, Crystal Palace 3-2. I mean, that guy SA seems to be really, really good. Even he scored in this game and was a really good chance. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. It was just like Wolves were not really good, and I think it was just Crystal Palace take. But who is the player of the week?
Szoboszlai. He looks really good.
You are picking
and Rice.
You're picking these 2 ahead of like 3 hat-trick scorers.
Haaland and Rice, I would say. Haaland and Rice.
All Arsenal fans being very, very, very.
Haaland is like it's known. He's just a robot.
Okay, in that case, you know what? I don't like doing it. I don't like this guy as much. I would say Son. That hat trick from Son, Ferguson's hat trick was like one of the shots was deflected and all that. Like no denying that he had a great game. for an 18-year-old, he was really, really good. And he's a fucking unit, like he was really good. But Son is a player who needs this to sort of get back to his old form as much as he plays for that team. He had like a good 2 or 3 seasons where he was very prolific. And right now, like he needs that confidence to get back. So probably given that and the hat trick that he scored and that what it did to his team, I would say maybe like Rice has to be there for me as one of the players. He was like fantastic in our game. So maybe the other one would be Son for me.
Hey, but
I think I'll go with Ferguson and get some normalcy back into this pod. We're praising Son too much. For an 18-year-old to get a Premier League hat trick, and I think it was not tap-ins. It was definitely not tap-ins. It was 3 amazing finishes. So yeah, I think for me him.
Goal of the week. For me, it was the Ferguson second goal. It was Ferguson's second goal. That was my goal of the week, definitely.
I think for me, the Szoboszlai's finish was amazing.
Yeah,
but actually that was an offside. But yeah.
just in this pod, you heard the same person, Deepak, say that offside is something that cannot be contentious, and right now we are laughing at an offside goal as the best goal of this week. That's who we are. In case anyone has any questions about who we are, yeah. So Deepak, Szoboszlai's goal, is that your take?
No, I would like say Ferguson as well.
Ferguson's goal. Eben?
I'll go with Szoboszlai's goal.
Yeah. Arun?
Szoboszlai.
Okay. So
I would have said Jesus, but like Eben said, he already brought the normalcy back, so I don't want to disturb that ecosystem that we built now. So
anyways, I think that's a good week. That's why you're seeing us all smiles talking about other games and being happy about it. So for all the listeners, please do like, share, subscribe, and comment in your thoughts on what's the goal of the week is. Is the offside rule as tight as Deepak mentions, or is it as bendable as as Deepak mentioned too? So so anyway,
that is not about the line. It was about like the player being in front of the keeper. That is still contentious.
So whatever you say, Deepak, that's good. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining in. I think we'll have more episodes during this break. One would be absolutely the transfer one, and the other ones would be something that we'll come up with. And thank you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.